name's Jenny. This is going to be the first of hopefully many tutorials about polymer clay. I'm shooting this today in a little house we purchased right next door to where I actually live, and I'm eventually going to have a photography studio in there. But there's a tutorial that needs to go online right now, so this will be not only my first test video, so to speak, but hopefully something you folks can use. I make these clay canes. This is polymer clay, and a cane is a rod where the design runs all the way through it. And you could cut slices out of this, make beads, jewelry, all sorts of stuff. And every now and then, a customer of mine will complain that the clay cane is hard and hard to work with. And sure enough, the first piece I picked up, look at this, I give it a squeeze and it's cracking. This is maddening. I have no idea why this happens. I make all my canes in the same room. They're stored the same way. They're wrapped in these little plastic things, stored where they're not touching paper that might dry it out. Sometimes they're fine for years, and sometimes this happens. I have no idea why. It's something polymer clay does. It's not brand specific. It's not color specific. If anyone has an answer to this, I'd love to hear it. But meanwhile, this is fixable. And in fact, another complaint people have is brand new clay will sometimes come so hard and, quote, dry that it's unusable. Folks, this is not an air dry clay. This has to be cured in the heat of an oven. And until then, what you've got here is a pile of chemicals, plastics and plasticizers that are up against each other in an uncured form. And plastics have a funny way of working on each other. In fact, one of the tips for clay makers when they're baking their clay is to make sure if you're making a thick piece, it gets baked all the way through. Otherwise, if there's raw or semi-cured clay deep inside a sculpture, this will happen. It gets brittle and your sculpture will fall apart from the inside out. Well, this also seems to happen when clay sits for a while, and these aren't even that old. But there's a way to fix it. This is going to be called the wake-up squeeze. You're going to start by taking both ends of your cane. What I'm going to do is remind this clay that it's already been conditioned, it's already been churned and mixed and softened and ready to go. It seems to have forgotten that. We're going to remind it. So we're going to compress this clay cane together. And note, I've got 3 here. They're all about the same length. I'm going to take the worst of the 3, take both ends, hold the middle so it doesn't bow out and snap, and push these together. And I'm putting quite a bit of pressure on this. This is not going to ruin your design. It's going to shorten and fatten the cane. And in fact, if you want a larger design, this is a way to do it. Don't let that middle snap out and break in half. You have to give it some support. Now look. See how much it's gone in? Not that much, but it's enough to make the clay move again. Now we're going to re-reduce it. Start in the middle, thumb and finger, pinch, pinch, turn, pinch. I'm giving it a waistline. This is the same way the clay canes have been reduced when I made them. We're just doing it again. Now see how that crack is coming apart? I'm going to push it right back together. I'm pushing in 4 directions. Really kind of hard. You can see the indentations there. Push and turn, push and turn. Turn it around, do it again from the other end. Start with the middle. Push and turn. It's going to crack here too. Can you see that? I hope. Maybe not. Now you may have to do this a couple of times. I can see it's starting to separate here. I'm going to recompress it again. And already it's getting softer. Still haven't lost the design. Now we start compressing again. Push, turn, push, turn. If you feel it separating, push it back together. It helps to get it in the warmth of your hand too. It'll help soften the clay a little bit. Boy, I can see why my customers sometimes will complain. I got pieces of your cane. Some are great and some are impossible. Again, I wish I knew why. It's only a random occurrence. They're all treated the same, stored the same. But trust me, folks, this is workable again. You just got to convince it that you've already been conditioned, you clay you. Now, I'm not trying to stretch it by rolling. I'm just trying to warm it. I wish I could put touch-o-vision on these videos. The clay is already remarkably softer than it was when I started this process. Now we're back to almost the original size. I still see some cracks, so I'm going to do it a third time. Press it together and then start reducing. I know this is a pain, and it's really a pain when you buy brand new clay and run it through a clay machine and you get a pile of crumbs. I will put together a later video to show how to recondition so-called dried out new clay. It sure feels like it's dried out, but it's not. You can bring it back to life. The only thing that kills polymer clay is being in the heat of a car. It can start to semi-cure at about 100 degrees. A car in the sun gets above that pretty quick. If your clay really will not condition again, it's toast. Throw it out. Back to about the same size, and I bet now this cuts really nice. No cracking. It's soft and pliable. Even if there's a few crack lines along the side, it doesn't really matter. Here's a crack line right there. I'll try cutting right into the crack. See, the design is still good. So that's it. It's just a matter of reminding the clay that you have been conditioned once before. This one is as hard as a rock. The one I've just worked is quite soft. I'm going to recondition these 3 pieces and send them all 3 to my customer who complained about it. I want happy customers. If your clay is giving you a hard time, write to me. I'll either fix it for you or refund your price or do something. I want happy customers all the time. No one should be frustrated because of clay that isn't doing what you think it's going to do, or it should do. So that's it. That's my first video. I'll upload this and see how it looks. Look for more in the future. I'm going to get this little house set up for photography better than it is now. Hopefully it'll work better. Thanks. Goodbye.